What's going on, guys? Wade here. We are back out of the abandoned cemetery, and today we're going to start doing some cleaning. We've gotten a lot of these stones pulled up, but we need to get them clean so we can reset them. Also, I've talked to the city. They've got some people coming out to work on the trees. We also get some gravel delivered, so stay tuned. This week is going to be great. This is one of the first stones that we pulled up, and this is probably one of the first ones that I want to get back put together. I was able to find the keyway. I had to use essentially a jackhammer in order to get the soil moved around this. We were able to uncover most of this, but then I had to really work really hard to get this pulled out. The soil was just so hard. You probably remember that from an earlier video. But what I want to spend some time on today is looking at these individual pieces, seeing what kind of mating surfaces we have available to us and cleaning them up. Most of this is dirt. Right? So we want to work on getting this dirt cleaned up and see what kind of surfaces we have and what we can put back together. Because we do have some of the top pieces, but what else do we have? So I want to explore that. So I've cleaned up what I believe is the portion that faces forward, because I can see some carving here as well as some letters, which indicate to me that this is the start of the name, and then this would be the side, and then these are the areas of the fracture because it's so rough here. So I'll get my wire brush out and I'll clean the mating surfaces to see what we can come up with. So I believe this would sit someplace about here. The reason I think that is because of this. So you can see this additional piece that looks like it's a mirror to an extent of this. See that? See this curve? It's mirrored here. So what I would expect to see is something that would fit up here someplace. So you can see this now on camera. Look, it's a lamb. So this would indicate a child. But you can see the outline of the figure. That was obscured with the dirt. And so what we're looking at is this. And it probably fits in something like this. Looks like we were missing a few pieces. So let's keep going and see what we find, but that's a lamb. So I'm gonna assume that this is a child. Well, I've been working away. I think I've discovered one of the major pieces here that matches. So if we look at this, I originally thought that there was potential that this could have been the top and it could have been curved, but we proved that wrong with this piece here, which is the lamb, and that would clearly sit at the top. So that left this to go, okay, if that's not the top, we have an outside border here, and this fits right here. Just like so. So we're certainly making some progress with this puzzle. This piece, I'm still going to assume that that fits off to the side, like so, but we don't have enough pieces that are going to fit perfectly. But what I do have is more inscription, which leads me to believe that this fits here. And it does. So we're making progress, and we may not be able to get this all back together. We're still certainly missing a number of pieces at the top, but I think we're getting close. I do believe this is an outside piece, and I do believe that also fits here, because I do see some inscription on that. But this part right here, we have a void, and that's frustrating. So I'm actually gonna go back in the ground and start digging around a little bit again. On another day, I'm gonna leave this out. But some of these really important pieces, now we know who this is. I haven't actually cleaned it to know. I can't read it yet with the lettering as it is, but we are making excellent progress. So this is not just a single child, this is two children. This is Alonzo and John. Sons, plural, S-O-N-S. So we have a plural, sons of J.K. and M.J. Barnes. It looks like Alonzo died in 1859, but the 5 looks very faded, so I can't be confident of that. It could be 89. And I'm going to assume it's mirrored on this side saying died April 20th, 1860 something. I can see the 6, but I don't know the other. Alonzo was 1 year old, 9 months, 21 days. John was 12 years old, 9 months, 21 days. And as I read the epitaph down here, I've got water on it, so I'm kind of bending over to see this a little better, but I believe this says, yes, he paid that awful debt, which we are beyond to pay. In something he vanished, his saviors feel, and did their voice obey. The coffin earth and the wandering steel does now lie form and close, confined within the tomb to sleep. I trust in something repose. So this is the Barnes family, 2 boys. This keyway is also just fully packed with dirt. It's an old square nail. Old square nail. There's a second one. That's really curious. I wonder if they were using that to somehow stabilize something. And the keyway is certainly fully intact, but right here, yeah, certainly this is appears to be an old square nail. This, I'm not sure. Maybe you guys in the comments, take a look. What is that? And here's another one. Another nail. I have to admit that I'm not necessarily that surprised anymore when I run into things in cemeteries, things that are buried, the way things are built. Here's another one. I can only make a hypothesis, but based upon how this was laying down in there, this was laying flat like this. So sometimes these are set in with molten lead, and I don't know if the family used this as a method of securing the tablet. I'm going to assume that's the case at this point in time, but certainly I've run across a number of different situations in keyways where things were secured. Frequently, it's just a lime mortar, but I've absolutely seen lead. So you end up chiseling out the lead as it's embedded in there. It's poured in there molten. So I'm going to just make an assumption that instead of molten lead, instead of mortar, that they were putting in nails as a way to create a spacer in there to hold the stone rather than having mortar or lead or something else. I was taught that molten lead, molten sulfur, were commonly used as essentially a glue along with the pins that were frequently in stones. Not necessarily here in these keyways, but I have absolutely seen some ribbons of lead that we pulled out. Well, the sun is almost gone. It might not show on camera, but it is getting dark out here. I can't really see that well anymore. So I'm gonna go ahead and get cleaned up. We're gonna be out in the city tomorrow morning. We're gonna do some gravel and get some trees trimmed. So thanks for watching.